Okay, so now let's look at the time zones. Let's look at the time zones. I've intentionally made the courses so short, like the every lesson like 7 9 minutes, 7 9 minutes. The reason is for you to be able to recap, to remember whatever I taught you within every session. Okay, yes. In trading, you have to understand the fundamentals well. Or you give up. You are not supposed to give up in the trade session. You're not supposed to give up in the trade world. I want you to know that there is much in forex trading and you can earn a lot. Okay, that is why I'm giving you professional lessons now. Okay, so now let's look at the time zones. Okay, the time zones. Now we have we have almost about 6 time zones now. We have the New York. Let me move to the next list. We have the New York section. That is number one. Number one, please write it down. It's very important. We have the New York session, number one. We have the London session, number two. I'll show you when all these sessions are active, when this market starts. We have number three. That is where we call the Berlin session, Berlin. We have number four. We have the Tokyo session, when trade becomes active. Okay, we are talking about the periods where trade becomes active, where there is trading. Okay, you cannot just get up and then start trading. No. You have to know the time zone, and then you know the kind of currency you should be trading on. Number five, we have the Moscow. If you know Moscow, that is in Russia. Moscow. I hope you can spell Moscow. Yeah, Moscow. These are time zones. These are time zones, please. These are time zones. Please keep in mind, these are time zones. I'm not saying these are mature places where like the trade. No. These are time zone. The world time zones. Okay, we have the New York time zone. We have the London time zone. The Berlin, the Tokyo, the Moscow, and the last one is the Sydney. The Sydney. Okay, Sydney. Now let's look at the trading sessions. Okay, let's look at the trading sessions. So these are the time zone, the world time zone. The NY represents New York. Okay, places from America, the whole of United States, some part of Canada, and then things. You get it. And then the London session matches. When you look at the London time zone, it passes through Ghana. So like you get some small from what do you call it? Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, some part of Burkina Faso, Mali, that region, okay, that time region. Berlin, when we talk about Berlin, talk about the German zone, those area. We have the Tokyo, that is the ranges of Japan and other places. And then we have the Moscow, the Sydney section, and every place, like the time zones, okay, parts. You see, Nigeria finds itself in a different time zone. Ghana, we find ourselves in the London zone. Okay, good. So now, what are the time zones that are actually popping up for we traders? Well, the number one time zone you should be looking for as a forex trader is the NY, the New York session. The New York session normally starts from 13 GMT. That is Ghana. I'm not saying Ghana. Our time zone. I'm talking about Ghana. Our time zone. Okay, we are in the London zone, so it starts from 1 p.m. thereabout. Let's say estimation of 1 p.m. thereabout. That is where a New York session comes, and then there's flow. There's a lot of flow of money within that period. That means that you can capture a lot of money within that period. And then we have the London session. The London session starts at 8, almost about like let's say 8:30 GMT. Exactly 8:30 GMT. Then it starts, and then market becomes active. Within 10, money flows and things. Yeah, so this is another time period. And then we have the Tokyo. We have the Sydney periods. Okay, these are some of the time trade sessions. Please take note. These are some of the trade sessions. Now, you shouldn't be forcing yourself to understand this thing, because we'll be talking about this one later. Now let's look at the days when you are supposed to trade. As a forex trader, you have a period of 5 days working days, like the bank. Don't forget, you are dealing financially. You are dealing with the financial market. The financial market starts on Monday, it ends on Friday. Monday and ends on Friday. But there are periods in the days where market becomes active, and then there are periods in the days where market is trying to fix in. For instance, we went on weekends on Sunday, then trade begins. Please take note. Market trade actually begins on Sunday, 10 p.m. around 10 p.m. Okay, because on Sunday, whilst you are going to bed, don't forget other time zone is active. So on that time zone, they are a Monday by 10 p.m. That will be like a place like how will I say, the Tokyo session or the Sydney session. That is Japan, China, Russia, and co. That period, that time, it is Monday for them, but you are asleep. You are going to bed. Okay, that is why trade starts at 10 p.m. But during this period, if you try trading, you'll be in trouble, because like now the trade is now fixing in. The charts are now rearranging itself. We will look at the chart. Don't worry. The charts are rearranging itself now. And then Monday comes up. From 3 a.m. going on Monday, you can start trading and things. But the question is it appropriate for you to trade on Mondays? Well, you can trade on Mondays. You are free to trade on from Monday to Friday. But we have special days what FST will recommend for you as a trader. That if you trade on Mondays, you should be trading not for a longer period, but for a short period. If you earn 10 to 20 pips or something like that, 50 pips, something like that, you stop. Like if you earn $1, you even stop. Or if you earn $20, you stop. Because on Mondays, the market is trying to fix in. There are news coming up, everything. Like that is the beginning of the active week. So things push in. And then every small move will cause you to go in loss or in profit. That is one thing about Mondays. So sometimes we don't recommend Mondays. The days that we recommend for you is Tuesdays, and then Wednesdays, and then Fridays. These 3 days. Okay? But even with a Friday, there is something small to attach to it. Okay, now let's say you are beginning as a trader. You started, let's say, on Monday. Because I'm telling you, I'm not saying you can't trade on Thursday. You can't trade. But you have to be careful. That is the only thing. On Mondays, you have to be careful. So now let's look at something. Assuming you started with the London session, you traded from 8:30, and then you traded 12, you went 11 or 12, you went on a break, okay, and then you resumed on the New York session. That it begins around 1 p.m. That is the New York session, 1 p.m. Then you traded from 1 to 4. You need to stop. You need to stop trading. 5 p.m. going down, the market slows down. Because during that time the banks are closing. Most of the banks are closing for the day. I'm not saying they are closing internationally, they are closing for the day. Bank of Ghana maybe have closed by that time. So you have to, trade becomes slow. People are not buying and selling goods in the market anymore in Ghana or anywhere in the London within the New York session. So you have to be careful because trade slows down. There's a low market flow. Good. So you understand now. On the London session, you begin around 8. Some people start around 3 p.m. 3 a.m. 3 a.m. 2 a.m. you start trading. Maybe 4 p.m. 4 a.m. you stop. Then you wait for the London session, where it's around 8, and then you go about your own thing.